Welcome back to the Transform You Live show. I'm your host, Marcus Hart. Today, we're diving deep into the tragic and deeply disturbing case of Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old Black woman who was fatally shot by a sheriff's deputy in her Illinois home. This episode is going to seek to do something differently than most other commentary that you may be seeing on YouTube and other places. I'm going to be providing an overview of the incident, reactions from the community, and how you can get involved in seeking justice for Sonya. So let's start with the overview of the incident itself. On July 6th, Sonya Massey, a single mother of two, called 911. And she called 911 to report suspicious activity near her home in unincorporated Springfield, Illinois. When deputies arrived, according to the report, the situation escalated tragically. Now, you may be wondering, how come you're not showing the video? I don't want to do that whatsoever. There's enough trauma induced from being exposed to all of the violence. Furthermore, continuing on with the story, Deputy Sean Grayson, who has been charged with first-degree murder among other charges, shot Sonya in her home. Grayson claimed he feared, and he put this in his very own words, for his safety. But evidence and eyewitness accounts suggest otherwise. And this comes from 10 different news sources and 11 other plus sources that you can reference. And I will make sure in the episode description that you can have a direct link from many of the news sources that I have taken a look at that are highly credible. Now, let's get into some highly relevant quotes and some things that's been buzzing around news itself and just on the streets. Okay. Starting with the news source itself, a very highly quote that I want you guys to pay attention to. And it comes from NPR Illinois 91.9. The Sangamon County State's Attorney John Mehester stated, the review of the case does not support a finding that Grayson was justified in his use of deadly force. Grayson discharged his firearm inside Macy's home, striking her in the head, quote, end quote. And there you go. There is a mugshot, or the lineup, the deputy being processed into the Sangamon County Sheriff Department in Springfield. And something to pay attention to, he has the skull and bones tattoo along his forearm. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I think we should move further along here. And let's look at what the family's legal representative is saying. No. So family legal representative, they're being represented by Ben Crump, of course. Okay. The family's attorney noted, end quote, it is extremely hard to imagine how a woman who calls the police out of fear, an intruder, ends up shot in the head by the police at her own home, end quote. Once again, referencing NPR Illinois 91.9. Now let's go into community reaction. This is, how most of the community are reacting. But for the most part, there's mostly comments from Black Lives Matter The incident has sparked outrage and protests in the community. Sunshine Clemons of Black Lives Matter Springfield emphasized the community support. And we're going to go back to, identifying Sunshine Clemons. She quotes, "We're here to support whatever the family asks for. We showed up today because it was needed." NPR Illinois 91.9. And as you can see, this is becoming a very much one of those George Floyd type of things, but this is very different from the George Floyd. And I think this particular situation seems, it not even seems, it is horrendous. I'll say the rest of my comments. And going back to who the community activist is, here's a photo of how she looks. Sunshine Clemons, co-founder and co-president of Black Lives Matter Springfield. Her experience ranged from being a DEI officer, so that's her present role, and she's also a diversity and inclusion trainer for the Illinois Department of Public Health. I had no idea that this whole DEI thing is becoming a thing in most Department of Public Health in different states, but apparently it is. And apparently Sunshine Clemons, she's very much involved in this situation here. How she's going to have time for both of her roles, I don't know, but she's involved. And going back to Ben Crump, circling back to him, this indictment is an important milestone in the pursuit of justice for Sonya Massey's family. We hope the scales of justice will continue to hold him accountable and demand transparency at every step, unquote. And he's referring to the fact that, like, the deputy has been arrested, and the indictment is already moving fast. That's what he's referring to, Attorney Crump. Okay. And Crump, who has been involved in a lot of these type of cases, he's currently involved in a case here in my own hometown of Milwaukee. So a name that is always in the news, And the NAACP is involved. They're another one of the community leaders who had something to say. Local NAACP president of Springfield said, quote, "The value of speech and public voice is paramount to a free society. We want to ensure the Massey family, their supporters, and our entire community can safely express their pain and responses." Okay, and going back to what the family has said, there hasn't been really any direct remarks from the family, other than that it's hard to imagine how a woman can call the police out of fear of an intruder and then ends up shot in the head in her own home. I would like to move now to the mental health part of this, which is where this channel, likes to help many of you guys on. There's an Illinois Times article that was written on it, and mental health expert Dr. Angela King, clinical psychologist in Springfield, she gave her remarks, and as you can see, that's Sonya Massey, a very beautiful young woman who lost her life in this situation. I had to put her photo up to remind you guys that this is a very small woman. Couldn't have been a threat at all. But Dr. King says the trauma from such incidents not only affects the immediate family, but reverberates throughout the community causing widespread psychological distress. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. I could not agree more, people. This is a very tragic situation. I want to encourage you guys to do some self-care. Do some self-care. This is not the time right now. Be aggressive in your response. Okay? We're going to be all affected by this now that this is a national event. But there's some ways that you can get involved to kind of start processing this and start the grieving process and the healing process for our nation. Sign petitions. There is a petition demanding a thorough investigation and justice for Sonya Massey. Look for them. If you don't see ones, maybe start your own. The more petitions there are, the better there is for a thorough investigation and justice for Miss Massey. Attend community meetings wherever there's a community meeting in your own locality. Or if you have the ability to head down to Illinois, maybe, show up for solidarity. Wherever there's an upcoming community meeting, do that. I'm not sure when the next meeting is scheduled, but with a good Google search, you can find one. Support the family. Donations for legal fees and family support should be able to be made somewhere. And I'm certain that there's going to be possibly a GoFundMe link or some other fundraising platforms. But if you want to take the initiative, if that's the way you process this whole tragedy, if that's the way you grieve, to just donation, contribution to help the family, because she had 2 kids. And now those 2 kids are without a mother. Okay? They could have been all she had. We don't know. But whatever the situation is, start processing the death of Sonya Massey. It's a heartbreaking reminder of the work that still needs to be done in our communities. Let's come together to seek justice and ensure that such tragedies like this do not continue to occur. I encourage you all to stay tuned for more updates, and remember to follow the Transform You Live show on all platforms, or just follow me at Marcus Hart _official on Instagram. I thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review this channel with comments at the bottom in the subscription and in the audio format. Do that as well by rating us, reviewing us. You can also follow us and other latest updates by just going to transformtheletterumedia.com and subscribe there. This is Marcus Hart signing off. Stay strong, stay informed, and stay connected. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love.